Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. How will the government handle politics after the vote of confidence, and how confident is it of securing the Indo-US nuclear agreement? Those are the two key issues I shall explore today with the Foreign Minister, Pranab Mukherjee. Mr. Mukherjee, on Tuesday the country witnessed depressing scenes in Parliament as 3 BJP MPs alleged that Congress and Samajwadi Party leaders had tried to bribe them. I don't know the facts, I certainly don't know the truth. But the country's formed the impression that this was one of the lowest moments of the Indian Parliament. Do you share that sentiment?
It is, whatever nomenclature you may like to give, you can give it, but totally it is unexpected. But this type of incidents need not happen, are undesirable, but sometimes it happens.
Clearly this is an incident that needs to be investigated, but should it be investigated by MPs themselves, or should it be handed over to an institution like the CBI?
No, that Speaker is to decide. Speaker does not, he has no investigating agencies and he does not investigate himself. But before that, he will have to get the necessary materials, and after that he will hand it over.
But if the
Speaker is seized of the matter.
If
Therefore,
the Speaker were to call on the government for the help of the CBI, would you have any objection?
Of course not, because Speaker's directives is acceptable to us, and government alone has the investigating agency. No authority, no other authority has it.
A second depressing incident in the last 2 days was the decision of the CPM to summarily expel Somnath Chatterjee. As one of the most experienced politicians, how do you view this expulsion?
My perception is that it is true, Speaker is elected in our country on a party ticket. Sometimes office of the Speaker has been contested on the floor of Lok Sabha on the basis of party lines. But once the Speaker is elected, it is assumed, and in practice, every Speaker, irrespective of whatever political party affiliations they may have, all of them tried to do justice to the office, and they acted neutrally, not on the party.
So the CPM was wrong to expel him?
I would not pass any value judgment, but surely I would like to suggest that Speaker's office should not be brought within the purview of the party discipline or any party mechanism.
Let me put it like this. Given that the left today has no confidence in Somnath Chatterjee as Speaker, and given that during the last 4 years the BJP has frequently criticized his performance, on one occasion they even attempted their own steps to try and remove him, and given that today no BJP MP or leader has actually asked Mr. Chatterjee to continue, should Mr. Chatterjee voluntarily consider stepping down?
No. Where is the question of his stepping down? Because no motion of no confidence has been moved against him, because there is a set procedure, and once that procedure starts, then what would be his reaction only he can say.
Okay.
But I do not find any reason why he should step down, because he also believes in this principle. That's why he accepted the office of the Speaker.
Let me come to a third depressing outcome of the last few days. Many people feel that to win the vote of confidence, the government has compromised itself with the Samajwadi Party, with Shibu Soren. Let me ask you bluntly, have you made any commitments to either of these two parties which could prove embarrassing for the government?
First of all, I would like to correct you that when we started the UPA, both these parties supported us. The letters which the then President received in favor of UPA included the letters written by Samajwadi Party leader, written by Jharkhand Party leader, and Jharkhand Party leader Mr. Shibu Soren was part of the government.
I don't deny that, but then they changed their position, even though they may not have, in the Samajwadi Party case, withdrawn the letter from the president. They publicly announced they'd cease supporting you. You yourself have spoken of the relief you felt when within an hour of the left withdrawing support, the Samajwadi Party gave its support. So I come back to my question. Have you made any commitments to either of these parties that could prove embarrassing?
I told you that so far I am concerned, I do not have any commitment. I do not know any commitment has been made by anybody.
When you say
Therefore,
you don't know, could anyone else have made commitments?
How can I know? If I don't know, how can I say that whether somebody else has made any commitment?
But you're leaving open the possibility.
I am not aware of any commitment. The media makes so many speculations. For media making speculations, they're as if Shibu Soren has left the party. But I would like to ask you, can you tell me when he has left the party, UPA? Can you tell me?
I can't tell you when he left the UPA because he didn't, but clearly there was a time when the Prime Minister was reluctant to bring him back to the cabinet.
No, that's a different issue. It is the prerogative of the Prime Minister, even if it was a single party government or it is a coalition government, it is the prerogative of the Prime Minister and the party leader to decide who will be in the government or not. But besides that, I am also to remind you that in Jharkhand, when he became the Chief Minister, Congress party supported him.
Absolutely. But since then, relations with both deteriorated. Let me put it like this. Do you accept that on this issue, your critics, maybe even some of your supporters, will be keeping an eagle eye on what the government does and says?
I do not know who is keeping an eagle eye or who is not keeping so vigilant eye, but the fact of the matter is that they were part of the UPA and they have reiterated their support to UPA. It got reflected.
There's a second fact as well, that if in the next few days, maybe weeks, Shibu Soren becomes a cabinet minister, many people will say Congress is now paying the price of his support. Does that worry you?
No, this is that these are all conjectures. As a practical political activist, please listen to me. As a practical political activist, I shall have to take fact, not imagination or fiction. As and when situation happens, something happens, we shall have to accept it.
So let me end by saying, your conscience is clean, you've made no commitments you know of that would be embarrassing to you, to Congress or the UPA.
So far I am concerned, as I mentioned to you, I am part of the system, don't forget. I am part of the system and I cannot deny that if something happens in the system, that I have no responsibility. Whether I know it personally or not does not matter. But the fact of the matter, which I am trying to correct you, that it is not important what will happen in future. Right now when we are discussing, I told you two things. I have no knowledge of making any commitment. Secondly, I am not aware of any stage when they withdrew support from the UPA except some newspaper report.
Let me put it like this. What you're saying is that you're only talking about the moment just now, and as of now you have no knowledge of any commitment, but you clearly are suggesting that there may be commitments made by others you don't know about.
No, I'm not suggesting any such thing.
You're leaving that possibility open.
That is your conclusion.
And the other thing...
I am not suggesting
it's my
any
conclusion.
Such thing.
Let's see
it may be your conclusion.
And it could be the viewer's conclusion. And the second thing you're suggesting is that maybe not today, but in a few days or a few weeks, there could be certain things that you do for Shibu Soren or the Samajwadi Party which will look like payment.
I cannot foresee anything. I cannot foresee what is going to happen or what is not going to happen. I am not an astrologer.
Let's leave it there. You can't foresee, no one can. Let's take a break and let's come back and talk about the second subject. How confident are you of securing the Indo-US agreement? We'll be back in a moment's time. See you after the break. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate and an interview with the Foreign Minister, Pranab Mukherjee. Mr. Mukherjee, let's talk about the Indo-US nuclear agreement. As you know, Pakistan has written a letter to 60 countries who are members of the IAEA and the NSG. First of all, trying to delay expeditious clearance of the IAEA Safeguards Agreement. Secondly, objecting to clauses which give India a right to build up a strategic nuclear reserve and also take corrective action. And thirdly, trying to force a vote. As Foreign Minister, how do you respond to this Pakistani letter?
Every country is entitled to have its own perception and view. Naturally, in the international bodies and organizations, they will express their views. But I am quite confident that in the Board of Governors, India-specific safeguard agreement, which we have circulated as agenda and the text of which are available now, we will get the approval.
Will it get the approval on the 1st of August? Or will it be delayed?
No, it will be, up to now we are expecting that in the first board meeting it will be approved. and which is being scheduled on 1st of August.
Can I put something to you? In its letter, Pakistan has called upon countries to file amendments. Does it worry you that this could create an opportunity for people with reservations to express them and thus spoil what you hope will be a smooth process?
You know, so far the smooth process is concerned, whether amendments come, whether some countries move some amendments, whether some countries express some views, I do not consider that it is querying the pitch for smooth passage.
So you're confident?
I am concerned with the outcome. I am quite confident that India-specific safeguard agreements, as the text has been agreed by the negotiators of IAEA, and India would receive the approval of the Board of Governors.
All right, after the IAEA
After that
stage,
IAEA, it will have to go to NSG.
let me talk to you about that. When it comes to the NSG, it's well known that countries like Ireland, the Netherlands, Austria, including some other countries like the Scandinavians, Australia and New Zealand, have reservations. How much are you depending upon the American government to ensure that at the NSG, these countries don't create problems?
Every country is entitled to have its own ideological view.
Except that it could become a problem.
To what extent United States of America or other country will be able to influence this country or that country, it is matter for them. So far India is concerned, India will approach, already it is approaching to every member country of the nuclear supplier groups, and we are trying to convince them, and there is impeccable record so far India is concerned about its commitment to non-proliferation.
Let's talk about China specifically. The United States Ambassador David Mulford says, and I quote, "China will look at the agreement and review its stance on it." Are you more confident than he is? Because he's not giving any assurance that China will not be a problem.
Your problem is you are just simply depending on the assurances of United States of America or its ambassador. Yes, that is, United States of America is an important player so far NSG is concerned, because we are not members of NSG. But there are other friends, Russia, France, many other countries with whom we have some sort of nuclear arrangements before the NPT, like France, like Russia, and who are also eager to enter into nuclear trade.
And they will all help you.
After we get the passport, that means passage in IAEA and NSG.
Let me put it like this. The Prime Minister met President Hu Jintao at the G8 summit in Japan. Did you receive any credible assurance from the Chinese President that they will support India at the NSG, that they won't be an obstacle?
Only Prime Minister and President Hu Jintao can answer your question.
But surely this is not a secret that you're hiding from the Indian people.
No, surely not. Prime Minister is quite confident that we will get the support of the countries in NSG, we will get the support of the countries in Board of Governors of IAEA.
Okay.
As Prime Minister is confident, I am also confident. That's why I told you.
Now, the American ambassador says that America is committed to getting India a clean clearance, but not an unconditional clearance. What's the distinction he's making?
I am not making any distinction. We know what we want from the NSG because all these are documented. These are documented in the joint statement of July 2005. These are documented in our separation plan. These are documented in the 123 agreement which we have, the text of which has been finalized with USA, and these our concerns and what we can accept are also documented in India specific safeguard agreement.
In which case, can I put it like this? Do you want both a clean and unconditional clearance? Or are you prepared to accept what the American ambassador suggests, just a clean clearance?
I am just not making any distinction or making any comment.
But he's making the distinction.
On the USA ambassador. It is his privilege to do it. But what I am concerned with, what I have committed to Indian Parliament, and what I am bound by these statements which are in the public domain now.
The American ambassador is hoping that the 123 agreement will return to Congress for a final up-down vote by the end of September. Is that a timeline you think that's achievable?
You know, how can I comment on the American congressional program or time frame?
I'm not asking you to comment
American
on that.
ambassador
I'm asking you
is
if that's
to
achievable, but is it achievable?
It is American ambassador to know how the American Congress operates and how they function.
No, sir, you misunderstood.
So he is a
I'm not asking you to comment on the operation of Congress. I'm asking you, can you get back to Congress with the 123 by the first week of September?
What I am talking of, that it is for American Congress, it is for USA administration, of which US ambassador is a part. They are the better persons, they are more knowledgeable persons in this area than me.
But you're not understanding my question. I'm simply asking this. Can you ensure
if you ask some utopian question and expect some utopian answers from me, it is just like that. I told you that I am not aware of the American Congress time frame. If they can do it, fine. If they can't do it, what can we do?
Many people
so I am to depend on what the American administration says.
Many people will judge from your answer that you don't sound as confident as the Americans do, that you're not committing yourself to the 123 reaching the US Congress by the end of the first week of September. That's the conclusion you're suggesting.
It is totally distorted and distorted interpretation. If I would have, if I was not committed, why should I finalize the text? Why should I go through this process? But what you are trying to do, something totally extraneous, and to my mind, it is to some extent irrelevant. You are asking me to comment, to express my opinion about the views of US ambassador. Who am I to express my views on US ambassador?
My last question, if the Indo-US agreement is not ratified by the US Congress whilst President Bush in his office, are you confident that a McCain administration or an Obama administration will push it forward without making substantial changes?
What they will do after entering into the White House, it is for them to decide. But what I know up to now, that in the House of Representatives vote, congressional session, there was a strong bipartisan support of this Indo-US Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement.
So that says and suggests that you're confident.
And I hope it will continue even after the presidential election.
That, I think, answers it, and the smile certainly concludes it. A pleasure talking to you, Mr. Mukherjee.
Thank you. Thank you.